The boy stood alone at the center of the stage, gripping the microphone with shaking hands, while millions watched from their homes. He did not come to chase fame. He did not come to win a trophy. He came to sing for the one person who would never hear his voice again. If stories of love, sacrifice, and unforgettable moments move your heart, make sure you subscribe now, because this story will stay with you long after the song ends. The theater lights dimmed slowly, and a hush fell over the audience. The massive screen behind the judges glowed softly as the host stepped forward and announced the next contestant. A boy, no older than 12, walked out onto the stage. He was small for his age, wearing a simple shirt and worn sneakers that told a quiet story of a life far from luxury. His name echoed through the hall, but the boy barely seemed to hear it. His eyes scanned the crowd as if searching for someone who was not there. The judges smiled politely, expecting another sweet performance from a talented child. The audience clapped, some warmly, others distracted, unaware that they were about to witness something that would change the night forever. The boy adjusted the microphone and took a deep breath. His chest rose and fell quickly, and for a brief moment, it looked like he might turn around and run. But he stayed. One of the judges leaned forward and asked him why he decided to audition. The boy swallowed hard. His voice trembled as he spoke, but his words were clear. He said he was singing for his father. The room grew quieter. He explained that his father used to sing with him every night before bed. They did not have much, but they had music. That was their happiness. The boy paused, his eyes filling with tears. He said his father worked long hours, sometimes 2 jobs, just to keep food on the table. Even when he came home exhausted, he would smile and ask his son to sing with him. Music was the one place where they were equal, where stress disappeared, and where dreams felt possible. Then came the first twist. The boy revealed that his father had passed away just months before the audition. A sudden illness had taken him quickly, leaving behind silence where laughter once lived. The boy said that since his father's death, he had not sung in front of anyone. This was the first time. The audience shifted in their seats. Some wiped their eyes already. One judge gently asked why he chose this stage, in front of millions, to sing again. The boy answered that his father always told him that if he ever sang on a big stage, the whole world would hear his heart. He said this stage was the biggest one he could imagine. The music began softly. The first note left his mouth almost like a whisper, fragile and unsure. But then something changed. As the melody grew, his voice grew stronger, richer, filled with emotion that felt far too heavy for someone so young. Each word carried pain, love, and longing. It was not a perfect voice in a technical sense, but it was real. And that made it powerful. The audience leaned forward. Phones were forgotten. Conversations stopped. Even the judges, who had heard thousands of performances, sat frozen. The boy closed his eyes as he sang, as if his father were standing right in front of him. His hands stopped shaking. His voice no longer trembled. It soared. Halfway through the song, another twist unfolded. The lyrics were revealed to be written by the boy himself. He had written them in the weeks after his father's death, late at night, when the house felt too quiet. He sang about waiting by the door, about unfinished conversations, about wishing he had said thank you more often. Tears rolled freely now throughout the theater. One judge covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Another judge looked down, unable to hide his emotion. The camera panned to the audience, where grown men wiped their eyes and strangers reached for each other's hands. Then came the most unexpected moment. As the song neared its end, the boy opened his eyes and looked directly into the camera. His voice cracked, but he did not stop. He sang the final line as a promise, saying that one day, he would make his father proud. The music faded, and silence followed. For several seconds, no one moved. It was the kind of silence that speaks louder than applause. Then the entire audience rose to their feet. The clapping was thunderous. Cheers echoed through the hall. The boy stood there, stunned, tears streaming down his face, unsure of what to do. The judges stood as well. One of them walked up to the desk and tried to speak, but emotion stole the words. Finally, he said that he had never heard something so raw and honest from someone so young. Another judge said that this performance was not about winning, but about healing. Then came the biggest twist of the night. One judge reached for the golden buzzer. The audience gasped. The boy looked confused, almost frightened. The judge said that this moment deserved to be remembered forever, not just as a performance but as a tribute. The golden buzzer was pressed. Golden confetti rained down from the ceiling, covering the stage in shimmering light. The boy dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. He sobbed openly, holding the microphone to his chest as if it were the last connection to his father. The audience roared louder than ever before. As the confetti fell, the camera captured something no one expected. In the crowd stood a man holding a photo. It was the boy's father. The man was a close friend of the family, invited quietly by the producers. The boy saw the photo and broke down completely. He pointed upward, whispering "Thank you." After the performance, backstage interviews revealed even more depth to the story. The boy's family had struggled financially after the father's death. Music had become both an escape and a lifeline. The audition was not just a dream, but a risk. If he failed, he feared disappointing the memory of the man who believed in him most. But that night proved something powerful. Love does not disappear when someone is gone. It transforms. It becomes strength. It becomes courage. It becomes a song that can silence an entire room. The judges later said that this was not just a golden buzzer moment, but one of the most emotional auditions in the show's history. Viewers across the country shared the clip, commenting that it reminded them of their own parents, their own losses, and their own unspoken feelings. The boy returned home after the show to the same small house, the same quiet nights. But something inside him had changed. He no longer sang into silence. He sang knowing that millions had heard him, and that somewhere beyond what we can see, his father had heard him too. This was not the end of his journey. It was the beginning. A boy who walked onto the stage carrying grief walked off carrying hope. And every note he sang from that day forward carried the same message. Love lives on.